Hello and welcome to Respect the Crit. I'm your host and game master, Ian Duncan. My pronouns are he, him, and I am joined by some really great people and some wonderful friends. Please welcome Jamie Lee-Bonés.
Hello, I am Jamie, she, her, and I play Elo, they, them, the modified medical droid mercenary.
I like that. Modified medical droid mercenary, MMM, you know? Or just, delicious.
Elo.
And living deliciously with us is Alex Herrera.
Hello, I'm Alex Herrera. I play Beegax Botano, Doug Slicer / Jedi wannabe. Both of us are he, him.
I don't have the acronym for that.
No.
DSJW. That doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Like it's like one of those the personality tests, right? IFNTP.
Yeah, are you a JW or a
yeah.
or a DS?
Are you a 3DS?
Elo's iOS, so.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
This feels very
And that's
weird.
interplanetary operating system.
Yeah.
And also with us, please welcome Susan Spenader.
Hi, I'm Susan. I'll be playing Xelora, the Twi'lek pod racer. There's more, but has not been revealed.
But this time you might actually get to play. So.
I mean, you let me do a sweet stinger last time.
That is true. It was very good. But yeah, we want to have you in more. Or well, we'll see.
I mean,
we'll see
I
how
think
you
it'd
behave.
be really funny if I wasn't introduced this time.
Yeah.
No, honestly,
Takes like
I would
4
know
hours.
her feelings. It'd be hilarious.
There'll be a bad roll, and Alex will be like, yeah. So we go to another
Yeah, we're
planet
leaving
somewhere else.
Yeah, we're gonna go to another planet.
We got a Coruscant way out of the way.
Deep in the galactic core, right at the heart of the Empire.
Well, let's see how we bungle it this time, and I cannot wait to play with all of you. So let's go get into some Star Wars. What do you say?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Episode 54, The Racer. The crew of the Way arrive at Ord Mantell, a planet widely known for its gambling, resorts, and excess across the galaxy. Instead of vacation, the Fearless Fringers are here to meet one of Gur's unknown underground contacts, a friend of a friend who has smuggled the last known whereabouts of the elusive Dr. Razara, and a possible lead on the mysteries surrounding Elo. Waylaid and delayed on their return trip from wild space, Elo and Beegax prepare once again to disembark into the uncertain.
First things first, let's do the Destiny roll. And roll up some Destiny points.
I got one dark side.
Oh, one dark side. All right, starting off strong.
I'm floating in space because I'm dead.
Oh no, okay.
2
What's
dark
that?
side points.
2 dark side. I don't even have to roll anymore, and it's already coming up dark side. All right, Susan.
Ooh, 1 light side.
Thank you, Susan.
Ooh, okay. There is a light in the darkness. There
Jamie
is.
and I just like shit all over the Destiny guys.
Literally. And we don't have wills anymore, right? There's no wills?
No wills this time.
I didn't do the wills because Ian's going on vacation very soon, so he's scrambling on his end and forgot to include the wills of the Force. But I'll get you next time, Wills. Wills, I'll get you next time. Don't worry.
Please be gentle, Wills. Please. We need this.
I just joined the team. Please don't do this to me.
It's very hard for a character to die, but it's so easy for you to have like a mangled injury or something that cripples you.
Please do me right.
Will's gonna will. What can I say? Will's gonna will.
Wills.
Will's gonna will.
our camera starts on the way, this light freighter coming out of hyperspace into the Jewel system. At the heart of the Jewel system is, of course, the planet of Ord Mantell, which is this beautiful looking planet that you can see the city lights glowing from up above, even high above its atmosphere. And we had Susan give us an incredible sort of like macro to micro from our last episode. We're above the planet here, and our camera comes in to the way, and we see our inhabitants of this ship getting ready to like go down to planet. Elo and Beegax and their crew and the various things that they've picked up. Before we get into what they're doing and what they're thinking, I know on the way, I was thinking about this earlier, because I know on the way there's been sort of like a like video game collectible, you know, like item that you've gotten from each sort of like event that's gone on. What's the thing that you've come away from Lahan? What's the like ornamentation that's like up on the wall or on the shelf in the kitchen or set on the table somewhere?
They had those creepy plants. We could have one of those, like in a pot.
The ones that eat people? The big ones?
Yeah.
Well, all of the other ones, didn't they like look at us?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had weird looky plants.
It's like a little Groot plant that's not really doesn't
Yeah.
grow. Does it grow into the big thing, or is it the little one that stays that size?
A little one that stays that size? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There can be a miniature one.
It just
for sure.
it just watches people as they walk by the trophy case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Oh, I love it.
And it's got really bright flowers on it. The like smaller than the big ones, but you can see it's like dotted around with those little really bright flowers.
How do we feed that thing?
Who takes care of it? It's not going to be Beegax, because that was a terrible experience with all of those plants.
I feel like if anyone were to bring something back,
I already know what you're gonna say.
I think I know too.
what?
You're gonna say what's his name? Obram brings it back.
Yeah, Obram.
Yeah.
I think Obram would do it
Yeah,
because he
I
wants
think
to
you're
study
right.
it, right?
Yeah, I feel like you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
good
He
call.
probably
Very, very
takes
good
care
call.
of it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably has a name for it. It's like a pet.
Sinks to it and shit. Oh my god. I can see it.
So yeah, as you walk by, this plant is looking at you from the sort of like trophy case. But yeah, so what? There a lot happened on Lahan, including some like revelations. What are Beegax and Elo doing aboard this ship?
I think Beegax would be in his quarters, just getting ready, preparing, like getting his clothes ready for the day. But from the outside looking in, it just looks like him slowly putting on his clothes, like, you know, not trying to rush it, but inside his head, he's going through a lot of different emotions, because he's like, oh, okay, the Force is real, that's great. Like, he's thinking about all this stuff to himself, and basically his belief structure has been completely changed. What makes it more scary, the visions on the Rakatan homeworld, or on the Rakatan planet, they had a lot of precognitive stuff, as well as things that have happened. So it's very disturbing to him that all this stuff was able to read him very easily, and B, that most of it is obviously it's true because it's past stuff, but also that like all those crazy people he had seen and all those fairy tales or, you know, stories of the Jedi and what they did, and the Sith and the Inquisitorium, or I forget what the name is, the Inquisitorius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, you know, what they're capable of. If Beegax is capable of these small things that are tremendous, he can only imagine what someone who's trained and more powerful than him is capable of, and that terrifies him to his core. Knowing that he has a small ounce of this power, and it's already kind of very impactful, how someone who can wield it expertly can basically take out armies on their own, or, you know, do incredible things that he never thought possible. So it's him struggling to grasp that as he's putting on his clothes, very simply, but we just see him doing normal actions, but in his head it's a storm. It's a tempest, essentially.
Yeah. Gotcha. And I'll say too, as you leave Lahan in that area of wild space, the intensity of those like precognitive feelings that were coming up have seemed to have dissipated. Beegax may still have anxiety about them and the memories of them and thinking about them, but the feeling that they are as potent is diminishing as you move away and into a different area of the galaxy.
Okay.
What's Elo doing?
I think Elo is probably, in preparation for getting on Ord Mantell, is trying to find anything on Dr. Mizara before we get there. Like, let's look at the Ord Mantell phone book. Where can I find Dr. Mizara?
Dr. Azara.
I'm sorry, Azara.
It's crazy because there's so many listings for Dr. Azara. It seems to be such a common name that it's just like, oh, where do I start? No. I'll say if it were as easy as pulling out the phone book, you wouldn't need to meet this contact on Ord Mantell that Gur has put together for you. So yeah.
Okay, I suppose then, just giving it a try, but with no success, Elo's just gonna sort of wait and wait to find this contact. There's not really much that they can do in this moment besides worry about what's gonna happen. Because the last thing that I had was that Elo is, quotations, alive. So they're sort of dealing with whatever the frick that could mean.
That's a good point. I completely forgot about that.
Are they dealing with it on their own?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
What kind of thoughts are going through Elo's head about that?
I think it's mostly questions, like that has always been Elo's focus. They like solving puzzles and figuring out things. So I guess the biggest thing is finding the doctor, and hopefully this person will be able to answer a lot more of the bigger questions Elo has, because I guess to me, when I'm thinking of that, it makes me think to those flashbacks where they literally are alive in the flashbacks. So that's probably where Elo's mind is.
Living in those experiences.
Yeah.
Gotcha. With nothing but questions. Okay. And that box, that Rakatan chest sitting on Elo's counter, just sort of like looming a little bit from their last experience.
No one touch it. No one fucking touch it.
There's a big sign like do not touch. Obram, this means you.
Yeah.
Rat, you too.
You are coming into Ord Mantell now. This is somewhere Elo has been before. Is this somewhere where Beegax has been, or
no? I think he'd wanted, like, how people always have like dream vacations, France, Italy, England.
Yeah.
Like Ord Mantell was on his list, like, but near the bottom of the list. Like, I want to go there, see the old pod racing tracks if they're still around.
Yeah, Ord Mantell is like, think Las Vegas by way of Osaka, Japan, kind of. You know what I mean? That's kind of what Ord Mantell is like. I can give you some information about it, just like general information, and if you'd like to know more, we can do a roll for it based on your successes. I can give you more about it. In general, Ord Mantell has a couple of different areas. Woolport, which is its sort of like main city and where the spaceport is, the Moro spaceport. There's areas around Woolport that are called the Scraplands, which are basically like big industrial like junk and waste fields that are outside of the city and surround it. Really barren and unpleasant. There's a place called 10 Mile Plateau, which is just a big flat area of land just outside of the city. Mount Akina, which is a mountain structure. There is the Path of Coins, which is kind of like the Vegas Strip, So you've definitely probably heard about this, as most people have heard of the Strip in Vegas. You've probably heard of the Path of Coins, especially if you're into gambling. And there's a couple of native species here. One is a pterosaur, which is sort of like an avian reptile. Think like pterodactyl almost. That's kind of what it is. There are things called flutter plumes, which are sort of like big, brightly colored parrot-looking birds that are highly sought after as pets and, ornamental things all over the galaxy. And then, of course, there are the Mantillian savrips, which are these huge, hulking, big lizards. And everyone in the galaxy would probably know what a savrip is because it's one of the pieces on the Jarek board.
What's the Imperial presence like here? But I don't want to ask anybody,
That's a good question, though. You could
That
just
is
take
a good question.
cursory glance around.
Yeah, what's the safest way to figure that out?
You can give me a roll. Give me a roll.
Sure.
And we'll see based on your successes. So you could give me a core worlds. Yeah, I would say you could give me core worlds or education. You could also give me education or underworld. You know what? I'll take any of those.
Ooh, let's go Underworld because I'm a little better. What's the difficulty for that?
0. Well, just based on your successes.
Hata! 1 triumph and 2 successes.
Awesome. Okay. So I'll tell you everything about what the Imperial presence is. First of all, Ord Mantell is one of the planets that it's still run by the I mean it's still governed by the Empire, but it enjoys a lot of freedom. There is a presence of Imperials, and it is, because you rolled that triumph, it is referred to as the White Zone, mostly because of the Stormtrooper armor. It's an Imperial garrison that co-opted an old Republic sort of like fort or base there. It's really hands off on the government, and hardly any of the Imperials ever leave the White area. Think of it, it's like Nellis Air Force Base to Vegas, kind of.
It's also pretty populated here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, we could probably be lost in a crowd pretty easily.
Good. Just, if we were to dock our ship, I want to use the fake name. I forgot, we've used so many fake names. I don't know which one was our most recent one, but I would make sure that we have whatever the last fake name was that didn't get made or in trouble. That's the one I want to use if possible.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
How much is it?
How much is it for a fake name?
No.
No, to dock here.
To dock here. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so as you come into the spaceport, you get all the informations. They check your boss information and your and all your ships thing. And even though it's all been spoofed, it runs clean. It costs 10 credits to land.
Okay.
And 5 credits a day to keep it there.
Man, highway robbery.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, they do mention too that they are not liable for any theft or damage. So if you want to hire security, that is on you, or if you have brought your own, that you supply your own.
Who can we leave behind?
Yeah, Beegax looks at behind him as I assume it's me, Elo, Gur, and Rat in the cockpit right now. And Beegax looks behind, sees Rat, sees Creed probably messing with just eating probably the table with Obram, and then Verse standing in a corner somewhere, and he just shakes his head. I don't feel comfortable leaving any of them here by themselves. Plus, the good ones we gotta take with us. And he's saying this out loud so that, Gur can hear, and Rat and Elo can hear.
I guess we could hire security, but we are sort of, down on funds a little bit, and I am definitely coming.
Yeah, that's a given. You're one of the... He looks at Rat, and Rat probably knocks over a drink on purpose, and then if a droid could laugh, if an astromech could laugh, that's what the noise we would hear right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he looks at Rat, and he goes back to Gur. Yeah, you're coming for sure.
You hear some more some sassy beeps, And Gur says, well, it seems like Rat is insisting he goes too.
I guess, I mean, you can't really tell that little guy no, right? It's not in his vocabulary unless he's the one who gets to say it.
He knocks over another drink like a cat, like an indignant cat on a bookshelf. Yeah.
Okay.
Rat, stop it! We're running out of mugs.
It's a very interesting problem we have, because now we have to essentially decide who we're taking with us and how many people.
Okay. Let's pick our Final Fantasy dream team.
Exactly.
Now, we only have 3 Spenader.
Well, ideally, I want to leave
We have to bring her. Rat
Yeah.
wants to come.
for some reason. I hope we can leave him here. Whatever.
We can leave Obram,
Oh,
but
yeah,
he's not a security guard.
No. He'd buy us at most talking to thieves for about 2 minutes before they either decide to shoot him or kidnap him or rob him. I want
That
to
really
leave,
only leaves Verse and
Yeah,
Creed.
I was gonna say we can leave both Verse and Creed here with Obram, because then he's safe, and also I'm sure they want to break after going through the mindfuck that was the Rakatan planet.
Yeah, and we can always, like, once we're, like, if they need to go on planet, we'll trade off or whatever.
Yeah, not a problem.
But I think that's the best call, too, is because I don't want to hire anybody that we don't know to watch our shit.
Exactly, I agree. Okay, then we have that discussion, but much cleaner and much
Creed.
yeah.
Verse, would you mind staying with the ship?
Yeah, we can stay. Are you gonna be okay? I mean, you got your changing body and everything, Beegax. So,
I mean, I feel fine. Yeah. No problem. Still the same guy. No issues whatsoever. Just, the added bonus of being kind of a kind of powered butthole, essentially, now. So,
oh, I didn't know it worked like that.
Well, it's an expression. I mean, I'm still a jerk. Just have powers.
Powers your butthole? Is that what you're saying?
Take care of the ship!
Does it come out of your butthole, or?
No, I said it wrong. Feels like whoever's in charge of my vocabulary couldn't think of an adequate Star Wars replacement for asshole, so he said butthole instead.
Slimo. There you go.
Slimo, yeah.
You all be careful, and if you need us, just give us a call. We'll be there as soon as we can. Just stay on comms.
Yes, and please do not go into the medical bay unless absolutely necessary.
Oh, yeah.
Don't. And then Beegax turns back around. He points directly at Obram and looks him dead in the eye.
Obram, for the love of all that is divine, please stay out of the med bay. Don't touch the box.
Cross my butthole and hope to die.
That's fair. Fair play. That's my fault.
Wow, there's a lot of
buttholes.
talk on this excursion. I'm feeling okay. Well, have fun, stay safe, and we'll keep the ship safe.
Thanks. And he looks at. I guess, like, I envision us being like a landing party almost, even though it's a ramp. Like, Beegax adjusts his collar. He looks at Elo with a smile, like nods, like, yeah. He looks to Gur, smiles, yes. And then he looks down and he sees Rat come up on the ramp at the top. And Rat, if a droid could be smoking a cigarette and flicks it, like flicking a cigarette on the ground, that's what Rat does. Whatever the equivalent is, he just like rolls up and just like spits oil or something on the ramp. Like, fuck this.
Yeah.
This is Rat's first time off the ship. He's gonna get crazy.
Yeah,
He's in full vacation mode.
It's like, we okay, looking back at it, I'm gonna say it. I kidnapped him. Yeah, Yeah.
And then enslaved him.
It's my fault. It's my fault that he's here. Absolutely, 110%. But you know what? You're gonna work now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got like a butterfly collar shirt open, like unbuttoned down to the midsection, flicking cigarettes.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
the Tommy Vercetti of Star Wars. I'm sure Vice City would love to have him.
Gur is sort of like, we're supposed to meet this person in the industrial district, like out there's a garage or something. They want us to meet them, so that's where we're headed.
Did you do any recon work or anything about this place that we're going to beforehand?
I mean, it's Ord Mantell. You've got the Path of Coins, and that's for all the tourists and all the people going through. And the industrial district, well, that's where you go to have things done that you don't want a lot of eyes on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I grew up in a place like that, so not a big deal. Let me just check something very quickly.
And then I'm gonna scan around, look for an information kiosk, and do my old favorite.
What do you want to do?
I want to like hack and see. Okay, what's the name? Like basically ask her what's the name of the building, the garage, if he has a name. If not, I'm gonna look up every garage in the industrial district and see if there's one that matches the location of where we're going. I just want to know what it is. I don't want obviously I can't find out. You
don't want any surprises.
Basically, yeah. Maybe get a floor plan or two in case, we got to do the old, let's go out the second exit or jump off a roof exit, which we've done before.
I gotcha. I think that's a bit much to get from just like a "you are here" kiosk.
Yeah.
But I could say you could get like a map of the city and area if that's
works.
something that you wanted. So
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you just Beegax real quick, like plugs in, just downloads whatever, hacks the thing. Do you want to do anything else to the sign, the kiosk, while you're there?
No, I don't want to leave any footprint. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to leave any calling cards or anything. Just a quick, clean download a map, PDF, and then unplug.
You do so, and you can see, and now you can see the sort of like various districts of the city. You've got you can see where the white zone is. You can see where the Path of Coins. The Path of Coins is pretty big, and it's right between the spaceport and sort of like the government area of the place, which is sort of in the middle of the city, and then towards the north is where the industrial district is. North of that is where the scraplands begin. So it's very much like, think Corellia from a Solo Story.
That's what I kind of envisioning. Yeah. So I just thought of something. If we're on Ord Mantell and I have access to this map, I definitely want to download where the old pod racing track is, or what's left of it is, if they have one. Like, it's just like it pops in his head as Beegax is downloading the map of the industrial district as well as the different districts and learning about them. He suddenly remembers, like, oh, they used to race out here. And he would try and look, is there a map or anything of the old pod racing track? Any like
maybe let's do this. I'll have you let's do another roll for this. You're trying to get information. Again, just simple roll will go off successes.
Okay.
I'll take Underworld. I'll take Core Worlds. Either one of those.
I mean, I'm doing Underworld. Obviously, it's my best of the two. Not as great. 3 advantage. That's it.
Just 3 advantage. I would say from this you can get that like there's like pod racing, like speedways basically, where there's betting and gambling and stuff, but it's nothing like you would see on like Tatooine or anything like that.
Oh, it's still active?
It's very general. Yeah, it's
they still race here.
Yes.
Oh, it's not outlawed then.
It's not outlawed. No.
I thought it was.
Beegax is like, hey, can we make a pit stop?
Okay, so
way.
I thought they outlawed it at a certain point, but I guess we're not there yet. We're not at that time yet, right? Or is it?
Oh, you mean like in the galaxy? Well,
Yeah.
this is this is Ord Mantell, and 2, this is our Star Wars, baby.
Okay.
So there is definitely pod racing here, and yeah, you can definitely gamble on it.
Let's say this then, because I know that Malastare was a big deal, but then Malastare got kind of imperialized, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that there's no pod racing on Malastare anymore. and it's been a while since I've seen it, because I was operating under the assumption that it was gone forever, because obviously in the Star Wars canon it's like, oh, it's gone, no more pod racing ever again. But if it's our world, I'm down to have it exist. With
absolutely
the premise that Malastare not only got its resources taken away, and all the whole the blah blah blah, the badness that occurred.
It's gone underground.
I like this. I like the fact that Ord Mantell's like, we still have it, and flaunts it around that. So to Beegax, when he gets this information, or at least when he sees that there's a speedway, he's kind of like, his eyes go wide, like, oh. Immediately downloads, like, if he can find a timetable or something, he's like, and just like rapidly downloads anything, even if it's nothing. It's just like a passing note of someone like, oh, this is no longer in service, but it is, or oh, every Friday, or something like that. Just a very quick blurb. He it's just like copy and pasting text. He just takes that and he's like, this is for later.
Yep. Yeah. At the tracks, basically. You go to the tracks. Yeah. Leaving the spaceport, Morrow Spaceport, for the rest of the city of Woolport, you make your way through here, and like Path of Coins is like the first thing you see, and it's just as glitzy and glamorous as you can imagine. Like, there's lights everywhere, there's casinos everywhere, like people are walking around with drinks and like having a good time. There's a ton of diversity here because there are a lot of tourists, and this is really where a lot of the tourists go. There are some other areas, some gambling areas, some for the more affluent, some for people who have hit rock bottom more, but like a majority of people come to the Path of Coins like they would come to the Strip, and there's almost everything you could want here: food, drinks, all kinds of services, and all kinds of things that cater to the different species that visit here. And as you walk down that, and like everything's trying to grab your attention, you make your way out of this area into this sort of like more industrial area. And this is where there's like way more warehouses. The streets are much more empty. The lights are flickering on and off. There's far less casinos, far less services, far less like people really enjoying their vacations and lives. And Gur sort of like leads you to this garage, and the door like opens up, and the first thing that you see is a big pod. Standing next to it is a Twi'lek. And Susan, could you please describe your character and maybe what they're doing, what they're wearing?
So my character is a blue Twi'lek. At this point, she's probably like leaned over into the engine, so you could probably see just the like tips of her leku, which are the two tendrils that come out of her ear on her back, which you could see tiger stripe markings running up her leku, black. And you could see that she is wearing a leather jacket or a spacer jacket and just standard pants and boots. And she just looks the standard spacer outfit. And she's leaned over into this giant, ugly pod racer. Well, most people think it's ugly. It's orange and it's beat up. And there's just two giant engines in front, and then this small little cockpit that could only fit one person in it, and it just looks janky, and if anybody saw this, they'd think it was falling apart. And it has like pieces on it that like came from other pod racers, so it's like mismatched colors, but it's mostly orange. And for the listeners at home, if you want to find out which model, it's a GPE 3130.
Let's go.
Yeah. But you hear her like leaning over, and there's all this clanking and banging, and then you hear her go, Chris! And then she like stands up and throws her her wrench across the garage, and she goes, "You stupid scum guzzler!" And she kicks it, and she's like, "No, I didn't mean it." And then she like leans over and starts petting it. And then she'll realize other people are here.
Yeah, and I think like the spanner like hits the ground and like goes like slides on the floor to Gur's feet, and he just sort of like stops it. Camera sort of like pans up to him, and he's like, "Are you Xelora?"
You're late. And then she stomps over and leans over and picks up the spanner and turns back to the pod racer.
Yeah, we had a little fuel problem and got kind of stranded. Sorry about that.
As she's leaning over into the engine again, I usually don't wait, but you're lucky because I have a race. But that doesn't make you any less late.
Yeah, apologies. Do you happen to have the thing we are here to buy?
Of course I do. I wouldn't have given you the information. And then at this point, she's leaning up and you hear the engine purr and then she'll turn it off. Whatever she was doing, she accomplished it. And then she'll set the spanner down and she'll lean back over to them and lean against the pod racer. Of course I do. Do you have the credits?
Of course we do. Of course we do. And he nudges Beegax.
I'm sorry, there's a lot happening here.
What are we buying?
The whole time, he's not even looking at Xelora. He's not listening to Gur. He's looking at the pod racer that's there. And it's like a kid seeing Santa Claus for the first time. Like a child that has the ability to speak seeing Santa Claus for the first time. And, they start saying, they don't have the ability to internalize their thoughts. It comes out through their mouth. Everything that they're thinking comes out. So he's just
amazing. Wow. Oh my God, it's this flap here.
and he starts touching some of the parts.
Oh, this is from a different model.
Wait, be careful.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, it's just...
And he still looks at it while talking to Xelora.
It's been a while since I've been up close to a legitimate pod.
And he shakes his head.
I'm sorry.
Xelora softens because you're appreciating her pod racer that most people don't.
Oh, yeah, he's all about it. And then he'll snap out of it and look to Gur. And then back to Xelora.
1 second, let me confer with the rest of the team here. I'm sorry.
And he turns to Gur.
Has Elo stepped into the garage?
Elo is leaving it up to... Gur is the contact, so until we're introduced, Elo's just going to let him sort of do his thing. But if you guys are having a conversation, then yeah.
So once Elo comes into Xelora's range of vision, she's going to do I see someone else, and then do a double take. Elo? You're Elo, right?
Yes. Oh, Xelora. Hello.
Wow. Were you respect as a assassin droid?
Looking down at themselves, having this new brandish of grenades, and looking very different than probably the last time Xelora saw Elo from the medical droidness that they were doing with Borsk beforehand. Yes, it has been a while. A lot has changed. Huh. You look the same. You look the same.
Well, thank you.
Wait, you two know each other?
Yeah, what's going on here?
I saved their ass before. Theirs and Borsk.
Oh, I see. Yet another person who knows my dad.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay, and then he's going to go up to Gur.
Hey, I thought we were past that part. Come on, it's okay. This is...
Oh, and then he'll remember, wait. And he whispers while you two are still having the conversation.
What? Money? What did you promise this person?
Well, I haven't promised anything yet. We're here for information. I'm trying to find out what it is.
She said something, and he's whispering, she said something about credits, payment.
I mean, yeah, it's not free.
Oh, Gur. You excellent businessman.
Says with extreme sarcasm.
Look, because you know my old man, does that give us any kind of discount or anything?
For an old friend, looking at Elo. But also being late, looking back to Gur. 4,000 credits.
Beegax almost faints and then throws up. No, he'll do that like the little gasp and walk back like half a step before correcting himself.
What about this? Just spitballing here. Top of the line astromech droid.
And he looks down at Rat. Is Rat even there?
Yeah, Rat's there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
you know.
Rat's already drunk. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's got one of those big like Vuvuzela fucking drinks that you get.
The
in
yardstick
Vegas.
drinks or whatever they're
Yeah,
called.
the yard drinks. Yeah.
Hey, look at Rat.
And top of the line, only used very sparingly by cargo shipment company. Rat, what was your job before we took you? I forget.
He's our astromech droid. We kind of need him.
No, computer can do it. A computer can do it. I mean, we got all kinds of technology on the ship. It's not.
Not all of us are the same.
I
Beegax.
didn't say that. I'm saying that navigation computer could possibly be manned by an organic. We don't necessarily need an astromech droid who is intoxicated somehow. I don't know how he did that.
You said you were doing some kind of race, right?
Yeah, I have a race. I can't give you the information before. I have it scattered right now, so no one person can get it. I have the Akina downhill pod race coming up, so you're gonna have to wait until after that.
Is there anything from our time together, Xelora, that maybe Ella would know about you that I could use to our advantage right now?
You know specifically that she's a smuggler, that's her main course of personal income.
Okay.
Because Borsk had used that before.
Right, and that's, yeah.
Yeah, that's how she has this information. So she probably has other jobs she might be doing. She never just does one.
Perhaps then we could trade services for information. We have experience in the smuggling arena, or at least I do.
Well, I mean, yeah, we've done.
And he thinks about it for a second.
Yeah, done that a few times, I think.
You have anything coming up, Xelora?
Zelora's going to tilt her head and then walk over to her workbench and pick up her Viro blade and just put it on her back. She's not like aiming at you guys or anything. She like puts it over in her back and then she makes a I do have a job that I could use assistance on. I have some goods that I have to drop off after the race. It never hurts to have backup in case things go south. Are you guys down? I could cut 1,000 credits off.
I know it's impolite to ask about the contents when performing a transportation job.
And he does air quotes when he says transportation.
But depending on that, I mean, maybe you cut down 1,500. You know, I had eggs inside me one time, and I didn't ask for a lot of money that time, and I promised myself I wouldn't make that same mistake again. So I'm just gonna ask you straight up: I'm not carrying any type of infant species, right?
No.
Okay, that's good. Well, I mean, all right. So maybe 1,000 sounds pretty good if it's nothing like that.
And then Xelora looking down at Beegax, you could tell on her face, like she tilted her head and now there's like this smirk on her face. So any outsider would notice that Beegax kind of just like amuses her a bit, just like his mannerisms and stuff. I could give you another 500, maybe even 1,000 discounts if you answer this next question correctly.
Okay.
Are you a fan of Sebulba?
I'm a little indifferent on the man. I appreciate his sportsmanship in terms of competition, but if the rumors are true about some of the things he did in the past, I can't actively celebrate his success. You gotta separate the art from the artist sometimes, and while I can appreciate the machine that he wielded for a while, the man himself I can't say that I'm a fan of. So I guess the answer is a soft no.
And Zelora's face lights up. Good answer. What's your name?
Oh, sorry, Beegax. Oh, wait, oh, crap, I'm supposed to be using the other name. Nah, you're okay, you're like us. Yeah, Beegax Botano.
Well, Beegax, that's another 500 off. It would have been 1,000 if you seriously hated him, but...
Well, hate's a strong word.
So, if you assist me with this next job, that brings the total down to 2,500.
Let me, let's have a little, a powwow. Come here. little hollow.
Okay,
Gur sort of like
Huddle,
takes
huddle.
Elo and Beegax's side. What do you think?
I think she's great. It's a very powerful machine that she's got there. That's got a couple of weird off-brand mods that I'm not sure are legal in any race that I remember, but they could be doing things different these days. Oh, you're talking about the deal. Yeah.
Now that you mention it, I mean, we are a little stuffed for cash. If you have an eye for these things, there might be a way. I mean, if we stick around for this race, and it sounds like we have to, maybe we can make a little money. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna stop you right there, Gur. Okay, I had a friend once, old Mickey. You know what he used to do on Malstair when we were like teenagers?
Bet on pod racing?
Yes, but he also had an eye, in those quotation marks. He had an eye for the mechanisms used, the machines. And when some local gangs found out about it and how much he had earned, well, let's just say Mickey didn't walk ever again. On hands or feet. So I don't know how things run here on Ord Mantell, but if we bet on some of these and, my eye, for as talented as it is, gets spotted, we might get into some trouble. I mean, I don't know. Ord Mantell could be different, but I know anywhere that there's pod racing and betting, it attracts the other element of it.
High risk, high reward, We could use the credits.
Yeah, but
What about this? Let me float this to you. Maybe we place a bet and we sort of help ensure that bet goes good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe something like that. I mean, can't you use the ooh.
Oh, and he grabs his hand as he's doing the hand movements of the Force. Like,
no.
Beegax grabs Gur's hands and quickly puts them down, looks back at Xelora, smiles.
Don't do that in front of uninitiated guests, please.
All right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
What else is it good for?
I'd be lying if I didn't think about that the minute I saw that racer when we walked in. Using one's skills to estimate who's going to win a race is one thing, but fixing races, that's a whole different path. I'm not saying it's not a bad one.
We're not going to be here long either. I mean, you're a pretty good racer, aren't you? Maybe you will even join. What's this Akina Downhill? Have you heard of this?
I think so. Beegax would have, but it's been a long time since he is probably talked about racing in general to anyone but himself. Maybe he's tried to explain it to Elo or Rat at one point when they were hanging out, but they were just completely disinterested. Okay, Beegax, I'm busy. They're doing something else. I'm working. Elo's probably fixing an Obra wound while I'm trying to explain a race, and then they're I'm working here. And then he's trying to tell Rat, and Rat's trying to do some engine work. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, do you want to roll me another underworld roll? No, simple check. We'll go off of successes.
1 success, 4 advantage.
Oh, okay. So 1 success, 4 advantage. Let me see. With that roll, I'll give you, it's called the Akina Downhill. Beegax has heard of this. This is not a race. This is not a track race. This is, in fact, this isn't even a race like almost any other in the galaxy. This is a downhill race, which means it's not laps around a course. This is a race from the top to the bottom of the Akina mountain.
Oh, that's right.
And
wow.
You literally said that.
And it's like a local race. It's special to Ord Mantell. People come to do this race. There is some prize money, but winning the race is a lot more about bragging rights and territory.
Oh, okay. Territory in the sense of gangs? Or territory in the sense of, now this group of people have this.
Yeah, it's sort of whatever gang or organization wins the Akina Downhill sort of gets to... they sort of have a larger chunk of the gangy pie, you know,
This is like-
on Ord Mantell, yeah.
This is
Especially when it
Twilight
comes
Imperium.
to racing.
So it's like Twilight Imperium. If you get Mechatol Rex, the planet in the middle, you get everything. Okay. So yeah, Beegax would relay this.
Yeah, I've heard of it. It's probably one of the more brutal races that exists. Actually, to be honest, I had forgotten about it. It's not a standard race. It can get pretty ugly because well, I mean, like the name implies, it's all downhill. Also, one note, your friend,
And he looks at both Elo and Gur when he says this.
Xelora, she belongs to a gang, then, or some sort of group. Do you know this?
I don't. And I don't think that's something you just, like, go ahead and ask.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking to you guys first before I.
Yeah. Hello. You said you knew her from smuggler days. Anything you know you could tell us?
We didn't get extremely personal. It was mostly business.
Well, I only bring this up because the winner, the downhill race, they have to belong to some kind of group, and that group, I'm using the term group very loosely here, they acquire more territory in the region.
Okay. Hang on. Let me just... one sec. He sort of, like, breaks from the huddle. Xelora, you mentioned you're doing this Akina downhill. What are you hoping to get out of this race? If you win.
Well, Zelora's gonna do a little bit of a sigh and then like put her hand on her pod racer. Well, I don't technically own her.
Oh? Who does?
I am currently paying or racing in order to pay off my debt to Zerka.
Like the arms manufacturer.
Like the goods and services that are provided across the galaxy. And she like tilts her head as she says this.
Circa.
Then Beegax looks at Elo.
If they make guns, we probably can't afford them because I never heard of these guys.
Well, they made guns. They did a little bit of rebranding after, falling out from the arms trade. They do a lot of import and exports now. Goods, he looks at Xelora, like you mentioned. But they are a major corporation. And you seem to be in their pocket. So, let me float you this. We help you with this thing that you have. And maybe we all go in on a little bet together. Maybe on your success. Perhaps there's a way we can help you ensure a victory.
Zelora's gonna cross her arms. And how would you do that?
Well, you already know Elo. I mean, they are unscrupulous with being able to do all kinds of things involving smuggling, driving, an expert shot even. And Beegax here, well, he's a pretty competent slicer.
And then Zelora's gonna start shaking her head. Nope. I'm not a cheater. I'm not like Saboba. Unless it's done to my racer, I don't want anything done.
Okay, well, cheating, I don't want to put labels on anything.
Yeah, let's not use any big word, like dangerous words like that.
Beegax kind of interrupts.
If we can only mess with yours, that's the rule, right?
Enhance.
Yeah, enhance.
And nothing too drastic. And she has her hand on it again. Like, like a protective gesture.
She'll look the same. She'll keep all that charm and beauty. But under the hood, I mean, she's gonna have some sharp teeth. Let's put it that way.
I've been down this road before, and I still need credits. This doesn't guarantee credits.
It doesn't guarantee credits, but we can always tip that guarantee into our favor. Heck, we could even... What does it take to join this race? Maybe we could even... One of us pose as a racer. How hard can it be to get a pod?
Zelora's gonna grin.
Beegax, his normal slouch Beegax normal slouch. His neck rises as if suddenly a sense of pride overcomes him.
Oh boy.
Put another racer in. Not to cheat, but just to make sure that the other racers are sort of, back behind you or something like that.
Preoccupied.
Exactly.
So Laura's just gonna look at her pod for a good beat, like a should we speak up beat. But then it's like, and then she's gonna sigh. I would still need credits at the end of this, so if this doesn't work out, then you still got to get credits for the information.
We'll still pay you for the information, obviously. But this is more about betting on yourself. How good can you do? And if you think that you can win this race, then we can back you. And you'll only have more credits that way. Think of it as an investment in yourself.
Alex, Beegax used to really follow pod racing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he would probably know that Xelora at one point in her career was so good that she came second in the Boon to Eve Classic,
Oh.
losing to Sebulba.
Yeah, now knowing that, it would be more or less as this negotiation is taking place. Beegax still looking at the pod, kind of rubbing his hands over it, and then gets to like a section of it that maybe he didn't see before, and it's got like a design, some sort of emblem that's been freshly placed, like a metallic plaque of some kind. He rubs it, and there's some scarring on it, and he looks at it, and then he tilts his head.
Whoa, wait a minute.
And he points to it,
I've seen this one before.
and he points back to Xelora.
You were in the Boon to Eve Classic.
And the grin comes over Zelora's face again. Yeah, I was.
You got run off the road. Or at least you crossed the line, but it was second.
Griffin Sebulba sabotaged my baby, and my engine blew out right before the finish line, and he passed me. What a scumguzzler. Come on. How does that happen? Right before the finish line?
Yeah, he tended to do that a lot, I remember. Wow, okay. Yeah, you're the real deal.
And he goes to Gur.
Yeah. If this is the same machine I saw back then, this could work.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I see this is a partnership that is forming here. I think that we could stand to make a lot of credits together, which is something it sounds like we both need.
Zelora's gonna put her hand on her face and then, all right, I agree. But just know I'm only doing this because I just missed a race on Socorro. They closed the spaceports for some reason.
Oh, yeah, terrible. Yeah. Awful.
Wonder what that could have been about. Okay.
Could be anything. Could be anything.
If we're going to have a second racer, I think, and Ella's going to look towards the whole group, we all know who the most qualified person for that is. Rat, would you like to race in the...
Beegax, literally, when Ella was saying that, he was hoping he was like,
Please don't say rat. Please don't say rat.
No, Beegax, and obviously, we can all in this room tell because Beegax has not let go of.
Yeah, he's been touching
the
it
whole time. He's just rubbing his face against the leather,
going underneath, getting some of the oil.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, this feels great. This is good stuff.
Beegax, would you like to enter the race?
I don't. Yes, of course. Yes. Are you kidding me?
We're gonna need to get you a machine.
Oh,
then.
they're not
worry
cheap.
about that.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
We'll figure that out. Okay, well, Xelora, then I guess it's a deal.
Yeah, it's a deal.
He puts out his hand, give you a shake.
She shakes back.
Get a little indication on whatever comm or data pad you have on you, maybe in the cockpit of your pod.
Just a moment, and then she'll go check that out.
It's a text message coming from your contact for the job you're here to do. we're moving up the timeline. We're doing this tonight.
Xelora's gonna let out a chuckle. You're on. I need you tonight.
Oh.
As she slides down from the cockpit.
I haven't had lunch yet. Do you guys have ramen here?
Yes.
Okay, well, then we're good. Yeah, then we're fine. Tonight's fine.
There's this really great ramen shop. It's run by droids. Have you been there?
Oh. Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I go to it every planet I'm on. But that other job I was mentioning, the one where I need backup, they need it tonight. So, you're still on, right?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
How many grenades do you need?
Hopefully none. But
Aw.
maybe for a party later.
Oh, I already like this. This sounds way better than the other transportation jobs we've done.
This job should be fine. I've dealt with them before. It just, you don't want to look weak in front of them.
Okay. It's oddly cryptic, but hey, I'm down.
What time and where?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here. You're there. You
do
are
it.
there.
Oh, boom.
Yeah.
Movie magic, baby.
Is it a wipe across the
Yeah.
screen?
Yeah. Whoosh. I think we got like a screen wipe, and we see like night has fallen over Ord Mantell. Of course, like the downtown area, the Path of Coins is like brightly lit up, and like those spotlights are moving back and forth, all kinds of like flashy stuff. But in the industrial area, we see sort of like high above, we can see like dusk on the horizon of the planet, and sort of like the gloom down in the industrial area. You see a lot of really run down droids too. Like in this area, there's a lot of droids with like missing parts, and droids that are like broken, that seem to be like wandering around the industrial area. And we're back in the garage, light blaring out into the darkness, and still at the pod. And I'm guessing like Beegax has like a bowl of noodles, or like disposable thing of noodles.
Cup, like the giant plastic or whatever material cup / bowl. He's eating it, and like I think along the edge of the bowl there's like the wrapper. It's like, become one of our satisfied customers like these, and it's pictures of all these different people. And if you look real close at one of them, it's Beegax's face. That one time they got the picture taken where he's like, oh, like shocked. But it's so small that you wouldn't really notice it on the wrapper. You're just like, oh, look at these weirdos. It's all these different aliens, from across the galaxy eating the noodles. And the one thing they all have in common is like the picture got taken without them wanting it to be taken. Like they were doing like mid-bite or sneeze. All funny faces.
How are you all getting ready for this job? Tell me that, like, aside from eating food.
Well, I'm gonna do that. So Elo's gonna catch up and just sort of ask Xelora as they're waiting for this job to happen. So how have you been? What have you been up to?
Racing. I'm sure you heard I came second in the bid to Eve. That's my biggest win. I usually come first in the smaller races, but Boon to Eve, that was the closest I've ever gotten. And, side jobs. I'm close to paying her off, and then she, strokes the pod. I'm so close.
You'll get there. I know you were always working on a job, so yeah. I'm glad that we can be of some help.
So what have you been up to? Last I saw, you were a medical droid.
I still do tend to people who need it. I've just found with Beegax that we require a different set of skills.
I get that. What happened to Borsk? Did he pass?
He did. Pretty recently. But it was time.
And Xelora's gonna put her hand on the the shoulder without the mask on it. I'm sorry.
I am too.
It always sucks losing someone.
Though he isn't fully gone, strange enough, I do see him in my memory banks from time to time.
Oh, I guess that's a benefit of being a droid. Those memories never dull.
Very true.
Do you still have that sweet ship?
Technically, the ship belongs to and is going to point to Gur picking his nose in the corner. Gur. Now.
So undignified you've given him. He's so much prissier than that,
I'm sorry.
I feel.
You know what? You're right. He's like cleaning himself.
there you go.
The wonderful kitty cat he is.
At least you have that connection to him.
Yeah. I do wish they were able to mend things before his passing.
Oh, they weren't on good terms?
I don't know that they ever were fully on good terms. You know how it can be between kin.
Xelora's gonna do this like yeah. And then she's gonna fade off for a second. Yeah, I get that. And then like come back into herself. I'm glad that you've been respect though, because a medical droid wouldn't help on this tonight. That wouldn't intimidate the Black Sun.
Black Sun, you say?
Yeah, I got some. And she's gonna roll her eyes as she says this, some goods for them.
Have you worked with them before?
Once in a while. When I'm on a planet that they're on, they'll request me to have some goods for them. It's just a handoff and go, but every once in a while, they have to act tough.
Well, let's hope that this time they're not intimidated by all of your extra muscle and is gonna give a little, like, friendly shove.
I'm glad to see you again, Elo.
Likewise.
Hopefully this time I don't have to save you.
That would be preferable indeed. Maybe I'll even get to return the favor.
So I want to think while this is happening, the rat is like scrounging through the garage looking for things that a droid could consume. Does your R4 unit need anything? I have plenty of oil that maybe they could have. And then it knocks over like everything on her workbench.
Rat will be fine. Rat, you're drunk. Go home.
He gives you the R4 equivalent of the middle finger.
He's not very nice, is he?
No.
To be fair, we did kidnap him, so... And then enslave him. So this is first vacation. It's been a busy bit since we've seen each other.
You have changed. And then Beegax is probably near the pod. So have you ever driven one before?
No. Not really. I got to sit in a couple of cockpits when I was younger. I've driven other things at speeds that are not safe. There was one time I drove a speeder almost into a crowd of people. There was another time I flew our ship against some pirates with better ships, and we won. Another time we drove a truck.
That sounds so much less exciting.
I forgot. We drove a truck through into a storm. I forgot. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I mean, I'm pretty used to different speeds, hazards, blaster fire.
So Laura, while this is happening, is going to start walking. Like once he said drove into another ship and all this stuff, or drove into a crowd, she's going to start walking over to Gur. And then, lean down and whisper to him. I mean, another way you could pay off the debt is, do you need a pilot?
Yeah, actually, Beegax is pretty reckless when it comes to driving my ship.
Yeah, in the background, he's still going in the background. He doesn't know
He's just listing stuff.
Yeah, because he's underneath the pod.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there was another time where we were in the water and I had to fly out of the water. That was actually pretty recent. And then I had this really weird dream that we flew into a space whale. I have no idea what that one was about.
Gur is like, that's quite the investment though, to bring you on like that. That's, taxes, health benefits, 401k.
I mean, at the very least, you could give me a ride to the next race. Because someone was late.
I guess the plan is once you give us the information that you are holding over our heads, would like to find where this doctor has gone to for Elo. I don't know what your schedule is or what your racing thing is, but that's probably our next destination, as far as I know. Though I gotta be honest, it would be great to have a competent pilot.
He does have the gumption of a pilot and the passion, which is needed. So
That is true. He has gotten us out of several tight situations, though not without spectacular damage to the way.
It's a great adjective for it. Spectacular damage.
Still going in the background. Oh, there was this one time Elo backed into a tower, and I asked him to get the ship ready. That wasn't my fault. I remember that one.
But if you miss your ride, I mean, at the very least, like you said, we can load up your pod and figure out where to go from there.
okay, I was just throwing it out there. I'm sure this job will be easy though.
It's weird. I don't usually become such fast friends with people I just meet.
I mean, I did know your father, so maybe there's that.
Yes, everyone loves reminding me how they knew my father. How great for you.
Well, to be fair, I didn't know you were his son.
Yeah, I'm not sure he did either.
Oof. That's heavy. Do you need anything for that?
Just a large amount of drink. That seems to be working just fine.
Wow.
Well, if you need anything harder, I got connections.
Oh. And on this...
Oh, shit.
On this, I think you hear, like, someone approaching the door, and, like, we hear footsteps and boots, and then just, like, a bunch of people show up. There's just, like, all of a sudden, there's, like 5 or 6 people standing around the garage, and some of them very clearly have Black Sun tattoos on them, like maybe on their neck or on their forehead or like on their like arms, and they're wearing cool sleeveless jean vests.
So cool.
And walking up through them and into the garage is a large Duros who's, you know, dressed similarly to these Black Sun thugs. His head is bald. Duros are sort of the like really blue, like big red eyes, like when we think of like Alien, like Roswell aliens, kind of like that's kind of what they are, a little bit more oblong, but they've got like big eyes like the gray aliens have, you know. And he steps in and says,
Looks like we got a party going on. How nice.
Well, you know me. I just didn't want to wait for you all by my lonesome.
Smart enough not to show up alone, but not yet smart enough to show up without being outnumbered.
But then you would stop the flow of goods. And she grins while saying this.
You know I'm just playing with you. I love playing with you, Xelora.
I know. The usual. I get you the goods, and then you give me the credits.
Let's see 'em.
And then she'll go around the pod, but she's positioned the pod so you can't see what she's doing on the other side. And then she'll come back around the pod after you hear like a latch clicking and like, but you don't see it. And you don't know where on the pod it is because it's blocking her, because these engines are taller than her. And then she'll come back around carrying like a heavy crate.
I've got to ask, is Xelora the kind of person that is interested in like the cargo that she's delivering? Like, would she know what's in here?
I don't think she's necessarily interested, but she's probably been doing this long enough that she's aware. Like, you know, you do a job long enough that you're just like, I know what this is. Because on other jobs, maybe other people like open up the cargo to see what's in there. And so now she knows this, like, oh, that shape of box is usually holding this thing. Or if it's this size, it's usually this. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I gotcha. So probably didn't like open it up, but kind of figures what's going on here, or what it is. Okay. All the meanwhile, like, there's just these like thugs that are mean mugging Elo and Beegax and Gur. Like, they're just staring at you and smiling and smirking and like wiping their mouths.
I think Beegax leans over to Elo if they're close. Hey, Elo. Whispering so they can't hear.
That sun, it looks kind of familiar.
Through gritted teeth. Not that Elo has them. Black sun. It's a black sun. Beegax, a black sun. Remember black sun?
And then he gets like a very vibrant flashback of running the swoop into the Trandoshan. Ah! And then he's like, oh, Griff.
Just act cool. Just act cool.
Yeah, of course. It goes back. Now he's smiling, but it looks gross. He's like, like if a horse smiled,
Yeah.
you know?
I remember Beegax's when his like trying smile is really weird.
Yeah, it's a horse. It's a horse trying to smile. It's a horse trying to smile.
Horse trying to smile.
It's like, yeah.
You're a friend, okay there, Xelora?
And she'll glance over at Beegax and wink at him. Yeah, he's fine.
Well,
And he starts walking over to Beegax. He's like looking at you, and he's like looking at you and Elo.
don't I recognize you?
Beegax is going to, while still having the horse smile face.
No, I don't think so. I think you're thinking of somebody else.
And if I can use whatever my because I don't know what my Jedi thing is, I want to try and, persuade him to think I'm somebody, like it's somebody else, because I've never used this ability. It's the stuff of legends, right?
Yes, but that is a power that is not available to you yet.
Fuck.
You can, yeah. And mechanically, you don't.
I don't know
have
it. Yeah,
as
I don't
well.
have it.
Yeah.
Well, then it's just.
But would Beegax think that he has it because he's got?
I mean, you are welcome to try.
I've heard of it, but yeah, never. It's just like it's the stuff you hear like.
He's just like.
Oh, he wouldn't even know how to. He wouldn't even know the wave of his hands.
It's
He
not
would
the
just
Doug
think
you're
that-
looking for.
Yeah. He was like,
No, I had never seen you before.
Yeah, I think I know you and this droid. I think I've seen you before. You ever been to Ord Mantell before?
No. This is my first time.
All those dirty Doug look the same to me, so I wouldn't know.
And while this is happening, just to interrupt this stare down, Xelora's gonna slam the cargo down, and then like dust is gonna rise up from the garage, and it's just gonna be like a sudden like BAM! Here's your goods.
He turns around from the two of you back to this big crate slammed on the floor.
Xelora, you sure know how to pick 'em.
Oh, leave my friends alone. You know how this works.
Ooh, straight to business. You got something else you gotta do other than sitting around chatting with your good friend Bonastasi?
You know I have a race to prepare for.
Oh, so that's what this junk that you brought down here to Ord Mantell is for.
And he like nods disrespectfully over to the pod.
She isn't junk, you know that.
Never seen her race before.
And then I guess you've never seen a good race before.
Oh, got teeth and claws on those Leku. I like it. I got someone I'm sponsoring in that race. You're talking about the Akina downhill, huh?
Yeah. What of it?
Well, I'm just saying, maybe you put your money where your mouth is. 'Cause I don't think that you got the machine or the talent to beat my racer. She's just too good. And she's been doing Akina for her whole life.
Well, you sure do know how to make a losing bet.
Okay. You want to put some credits on it?
Do I have credits? Sorry. I have 0 credits.
You have 0 credits. However,
Well, I'm about to give you a whole bunch of credits.
and he snaps his fingers, and one of the thugs comes up with a big briefcase, opens it up, full of those tiny little gold bar credits. And he's like,
If you think you're good enough, you could put all that up against my racer. You win, no one's wiser and all the richer. You lose, well, Zerka's so big, they wouldn't be missing that much, would they?
Susan here. Yes, they would. Cocky asshole Xelora. I think they'd appreciate it if I made that and double.
If you're as good as you say you are.
And then she's gonna step up close to him enough to like put her hand on his. She's gonna put her hand on his chest and like drag it down a little bit. I'm better.
Oh, you're not all about business. I see. Then the credits are yours. For now.
he snaps his fingers again. Someone else goes over to the crates, opens it up. Inside, all of you in this room can see that these are they're weapons, obviously. But these are T7 ion disruptor rifles.
Oh.
And these are huge. They're big. They're in this big long crate. They're designed to like disable starships and big vehicles.
That's insane.
Now that you got all this cash, I want to see what you can do.
We'll watch the race, because you're in for a treat.
I'll be there.
And then she's gonna like lean her head to the side and like flick one of her leku over her shoulder. Now, Bonnie, you know we play clean in these races, or else there's no reason to play at all.
I would never dream of doing anything dirty.
Well, maybe not on the race.
He sort of like looks at you and like does the tongue in the side of his mouth thing, like. He nods at Beegax and Elo. He says,
Be sure to bring your friends. Wouldn't want to come alone.
Remember, I said play nice.
See you at the race.
Lovely as always, Bonnie.
he nods and steps out. His gang picks up the crate, hovers out, and gives you a big wink with his like big red eye, like. And you are left alone in this garage. Gur is like, wow. I really felt the sexual tension there. I mean, between all of you. Whew.
Did it work? Did my smile? Did I pull it off this time?
If you were trying to horrify all of us, then yes.
I gotta keep practicing, I guess.
We need to find you a pod. That is gonna be a problem.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Now that we got, not that I don't want to get into anyone's business here, but Xelora, it sounds like you're in a can't-lose situation, right?
And won't lose.
Well, okay, I like the attitude. That's great. But if, divines forbid you do something terrible in that race and you do lose, can you pay him back? I mean, that was a big case of money.
He would get that money back, and then I would have to pay back Circa.
And you already owe these guys money, or do you owe somebody else money? I forget, because it seems like everyone owes a lot of people here.
It's just Circa, and it would just be added to my debt, don't worry.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good system to have.
We know a thing or two about having debt.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
He looks at Xelora when he says this.
Buying a chassis for a pod. Where would one start? I don't think I've ever had to do this.
We could always steal one too.
Well, yeah, if you want to go straight to the criminal route.
I'll say that after we pay Xelora, we will have about 5,500 credits remaining.
And how much of that are we putting down to bet on this race? We want to try and make some money, don't we?
The more and more we talk about this, the more and more thievery sounds like the most cost-effective method of acquiring a new pod.
Yeah, the cheapest pod you're looking at is 11,000 creds.
Definitely not happening. No. I mean, we can always sell Rat. He's got to be worth something, right?
Again, he is our astromech droid. We need to calculate, especially wherever we're going next, and especially if we have to make a fast getaway.
See, that's why I like the Horizon Boy ship, because they didn't need one of these little.
And he like lightly taps Rat with his foot, like, but he could make it seem like if Rat wanted to, he could be like, oh, like he kicked me.
Abuse.
Yeah, the Horizon Boys didn't have one of these hunk of junk,
And he just like taps him with his foot.
Hey, take it easy on the R4.
He just goes after you. He just like she's trying to roll over your feet hands.
I mean, another option would be to be sponsored.
Okay, that sounds good. I like that. That word means stuff for free, typically, right?
Well, it may just be another debt, but if anybody's looking for a racer for their association, maybe you could look into that.
Wouldn't someone want an established racer to sponsor?
It depends.
Not if they're desperate.
Yeah, or, an established racer could be established on,
And he puts air quotes.
in theory, right? Could just be a bunch of forged documents, sites, HoloNet articles about a Doug racer who was tutored under Sebulba, who is looking to take this new learnings onto the downhill.
And he kind of smiles as he says this.
Have you ever actually done a race before?
I mean, not in a pod racer, no. But like I mentioned before, Gur, I've raced on swoops and ships, trucks, countless.
Yes, and just to be clear, we don't need you to win. I
No,
mean,
yeah, no,
That
yeah,
would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like a bumper or a buffer zone, essentially.
exactly.
A bumper. That's exactly your purpose.
I mean, staying alive would be nice, but we need you to win.
I will, don't worry. I am worried about our little Beegax friend here, though. Why don't you get into the cockpit of my pod real quick? I just want to see how you sit there.
No problem.
And as he's like getting in,
I don't like to be called little, first of all. Also, just addendum, okay?
I'm
he
sorry.
climbs into the pod. He fits, but I mean, there's a lot of extra room, I would guess, because he is.
But how does he sit? Like, when an expert looks at someone else.
I mean, he's been a fan of the sport. He's got the, what's it called? The technique. It's very by the book. Is he comfortable doing it? No. He's like he's forcing himself to be in that position. Just seems very stiff. It's very rigid.
Yeah. So as someone who does this for a living, probably could tell, like, they're, like, imitating something they've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this feels great. Totally natural.
You have your hand on the decelerator. The accelerator's next to it.
Oh, I'm not used to this kind of design.
And then he starts to make, as he's positioning himself, he starts to make the horse smile again.
And now your other hand's holding onto the debris ejector.
Oh, no, don't want to do that. Put it here.
What is the likelihood that Beegax survives this race?
Very high.
Rat chirps up, and in binary, and it's just, you're gonna die.
Not before you hunk of junk. I'll run you over before I blow up.
Perhaps we hedge our bets all on you, and Beegax, you can be the pit crew. You would need a pit crew, yes, for something like
you
this.
can buy a couple of pitch droids. Right? What are they, like 300 a pop?
So you're really committed to this, huh?
Oh
Beegax?
yeah, and then we get
Committed.
to keep the pit droids. They can come with us on the ship.
My ship.
I didn't say mine. I said the ship. I know it's yours, but I was the owner before you.
Let me ask you this, Xelora. Have you ever raced this before?
I mean, technically no, but similar tracks.
Do you know anything about this racer that this Banastasi is sponsoring? I'm sorry, that the Black Sun is sponsoring.
Do I?
Yeah, you could do a roll. You could do a roll.
Do a roll.
Yeah.
Do a roll.
Yay!
Okay.
Because I would imagine Xelora knows the pod racing world pretty well.
It's probably, she lives and breathes it. So even like not well-known racers, she's probably even aware of. Just because if you're that much into it, you just even know, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, give me you could give me a piloting planetary. You could also give me a underworld roll.
I'm going to stop you there. Piloting planetary
Okay.
is my jam.
Okay.
Yeah, now that we have a real pilot, I invested incorrectly if I have these. I have so much piloting stuff in here.
You never know. There may always be an occasion where you got to ride a truck into a storm again.
Oh,
And
hell
you just
yeah.
never know.
Sign me up. Drive into the storm.
Is there a difficulty?
It's just a simple check, so we'll go off of, like before, we're just going off of how many accumulated successes and advantages you have.
3 successes, 2 advantages.
Whoa.
3 successes. Okay, cool. And 2 advantages.
great.
Yeah, that's a great roll. I'll probably I can probably tell you everything.
What's her middle name?
So I leave it up to you whether you've like raced her before. You've definitely not done the Akina downhill before, but you know Bonastasi is Black Sun, and he sponsors this racer for all kinds of races on Ord Mantell and off Ord Mantell. Her name is Fruma Zith. She is a Celestin. Celestins they have the sort of like face flaps, the sort of like moist face flaps. Nub in the Return of the Jedi, has them when he's flying around with Lando at the end of the movie. They're like flying in the Millennium Falcon. He's got that weird little pilot that's like, "Mah, mah, 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 mah." That's a Celestin, and they are known on their planet and the galaxy over for being good drivers. Like that's what they're known for, and she's won the Akina downhill like consecutively for a long time. She is the undisputed champion, and she's the reason why Black Sun has such a hold the way they do in the pod racing world on Ord Mantell, because she keeps winning for them over and over and over again. With your roll too, I'll even tell you, because your roll was so good, I'll tell you her pod racer. You probably know her pod racer. It is a CR-17 Incendia 3 model from Zerka.
This thing has flames on it? What the hell?
Okay, I just want to establish it is this character's at odds with me.
Oh yeah, she's a loudmouth too. She's a friggin' loudmouth, and she's real adversarial, especially to Xelora.
Okay, it's comparable to mine though.
It's got
It's
got
better,
flames.
but
it's got
comparable.
flames.
It's got flames.
You know that your pod is faster, but she's got the handling advantage.
Hopefully there's no turns in this.
Well, handling can also mean downhill too, like control at a top acceleration.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked that, Susan, because I do want to share with you one thing. In fact, let me paint the scene. We've got Beegax, up there in the thing, and we screen wipe again, and this time we're actually on the track. Like, all of you are up there, like, taking a view of the actual Mount Akina downhill track from the top of the mountain. It's night. We can see the stars. We can see the city out in the distance. So this is the Akina downhill. It is all turns. In fact, there is a section of this track called the turns that has 5 consecutive hairpin turns on it that have to be mastered with precision, timing, handling, and speed. This is the track. This is the race. And the Akina downhill, this is not your circuit race. This is not your Bunta Eve Classic where, there's you lapping around an environment as fast as you can go to see how many laps. This requires you to not only go fast, but know when to turn, how to use that handling, when to slow down to make those turns. This is a complicated race, and it's dangerous because this is a live track as well, meaning there are other vehicles that use this road. It's not closed down. This is a live track. It is very dangerous. It is very unofficial. It is very underground, and the people that are in this race are incredible speed freaks, and the person who wins it is heralded as being one of the best pod racers. And that's what we're looking at as we see Beegax, Elo, Xelora, and an angry droid and Gur standing at the top of this hill.
Well, that's a lot of turns. How you feeling, Xelora?
I've done worse. This is nothing. And then she's like flipping her blaster on her finger, just like very like laid back, looking down at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna die.
that was
Perfect ending, Alex.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Respect the Crits, Empire's Edge. If you like what you heard, please consider supporting us by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, or whatever platform you use to listen. It's easy, free, helps others learn about the show, and we love reading your feedback. For more information about the show, visit @RespectTheCrit on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, or come chat with us in our official Discord. Beegax is played by Alex Herrera, who you can find on Twitter @AE Herrera or on his Twitch channel, WadeWolf10. Elo is played by Jamie Lee-Bonés, who you can find on Instagram and TikTok @JamieMFBones. Xelora is played by Susan Spenader, who you can find on Instagram @SuzLalouz. I'm Ian Duncan, your host and GM, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram @idunks. The music in this episode is provided with license or permission by a variety of talented artists, whose info and credits can be found in the episode notes. Please support them by visiting their platforms to hear more of their work. The Star Wars role-playing system is published by Fantasy Flight Games. And remember, whatever the system, whether it's a miss or a hit, you always gotta respect the crit. Thank you very much, and may the Force be with you. And I'm gonna share with you just a visualization of the track here. So this is the Akina downhill. It is all turns.
This looks like
it's crazy.
Yeah,
oh my
this looks
gosh,
like,
it does.
That's that anime Initial D, the one that's like the racers in Japan where they do drifting on the mountains. That's
Alex,
what this looks like.
You warm my heart because this is based on Initial D.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was like, this feels like this course feels like an Initial D course. Night of Fire, and then they're like, just fucking going sideways.